Hey friends, I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemanda, the intuitive psychiatrist, and you're listening to Stepping into Soul Power. Friends, we spend a lot of time trying to think our way to healing. But what if the body needs to hear something, literally? And sound throughout the centuries has been used as treatment, medicine for thousands of years across every culture on earth, and it's only now that like neuroscience and physics are really catching up to what ancient traditions have known, that there's something about frequency, the right frequency that heals. And my guests today are creators of pure love frequency. They are musicians, sound bath masters, energy healers, and are proof of this concept. Today, we're going to explore the different ways sound touches us in mind, body, and spirit. I'd like to welcome my guests, Olivier Maxet and Megan Selby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Really good to be with you.
Yeah, so I would like to hear from you. You know a lot about sound, and I wonder if you could tell us what is actually happening to us when we are exposed to therapeutic sound.
Well, there's so much that we can bring in a practical way about like the physics of sound healing. So, even in our language, we say if someone's healthy, they're of sound health. Like sound, the vibration is primary. It's a sound. In the beginning was the word. Frequency is everything. The universe is all about frequency. And there are sound healers who, now using technology, you can analyze someone's frequency. You can see what frequencies are coming from their body. And you'll see that if they're unwell or they have a disease, then that part of the spectrum will be missing from their trace. And if you play those frequencies to that person, they get better. I experienced this myself with a sound healer in Glastonbury in England, where I went to a sound healing with a cold, quite a bad cold. And during the course of the sound healing, I felt a lot of energy moving. When I got up from the table at the end, my cold was gone.
Wow.
It can be this fast, it can be this quick.
Well, we were just on a call with someone recently, and we were just playing for him because he was kind of interested in what we do. And he came away from that, it's like, my back pain's completely gone. And it's interesting, the missing frequencies, because I've had some really quite interesting experiences directly with clients where there's been certain sounds that I've made that they've not heard at all.
Interesting.
And, yeah, and it's almost like that part of them is kind of vacant. But as you work with someone and you bring in that sound more and more in a safe, loving intention, then they'll start hearing that sound again. And it's kind of interesting as well, because I use my voice. That's the way that I do my thing. And I will experience it in my voice. Like if there's kind of like a gravelly bit in someone's, like, let's say like lower belly or something, then when I'm singing that kind of tone and focusing on that area, it might well drop out or kind of break a little bit or go kind of like tricky to make the sound. And then I'll just keep making the sound and keep making the sound until it just becomes clear again. So it's like we're kind of like in a way, like a mirror, like a reflection of what's happening. Yeah.
It's so sorry, you're getting me excited because no, because in psychiatry we talk about we mirror a lot of what we do when we're speaking to people. We're mirroring, what's going on, but it's so cool that you do that when you are creating sound baths for people.
Well, I think also, it's interesting what you're saying, because in your work, there's a lot of talking, like there's a lot that's around talking, and we forget that the voice is our instrument, and we become very used to playing our instrument in a very kind of practiced way, and we generally stay in a particular kind of range of tones, and we don't really go anywhere else with it. It's kind of what we've learned, and it's what we've received from our external environment as what's acceptable, and that's kind of where we stay usually for most of our lives. And it's really interesting for me when I hear people talk, and especially when they talk about certain things, you can hear a difference. I don't know, this is probably something that maybe you notice, that you can hear a difference in their voice. You know, like you can hear when someone's scared, and you can hear when someone's
Yes.
relaxed. And it
Yeah.
has a profound effect on who's around as well. Like if you're in the presence of someone with a really relaxed and open, like resonant voice, it creates a really a beautiful sense of trust and relaxation and surrender in the room. But if there's someone that's like really like stressed out and kind of like just wants to get to the end of something, it kind of like puts everyone on edge. And it's fascinating. Like once you start feeling into this and watching for it, you notice like, man, like the music that we create all day long in our voice, we're usually pretty unconscious about, but it's a whole massive world to tap into.
Wow. I guess I got a couple questions about that. So what do you do with people who are stuck in a particular type of pattern of using voices and you feel like you need to expand?
Yeah, well, you know, we spoke about how some people won't hear a certain tone. So the hearing and the making of sound are very, like, they're completely intertwined. So when we allow ourselves to start kind of softening and opening up our listening and being more conscious and slowing down and really allowing ourselves to hear more, because often we don't really hear. We're kind of like listening for what we're expecting,
Yes.
and kind of like, you know, like trying to say the right thing at the right time, and we're not generally relaxed enough to just let ourselves really hear. But when we can let ourselves really hear, then we can start hearing ourselves. And what I mean by that is like really letting ourselves feel ourselves and feel our own energy and feel our own emotions. Because, you know, there are so many emotions that we potentially don't want to feel. We kind of
Yes.
tighten up around it. So
Yes.
while we're tightening up, everything tightens up. So we tighten up our hearing, we tighten up our voice, we tighten up our mind of how we think about those things, and then it becomes very narrow. So once we start allowing a kind of trust, again, it comes back to a kind of trust, to allow that, okay, it's okay to open up and listen and hear myself and hear my breath and hear my heartbeat and hear the sounds in my environment and know they're not threatening, just hear it, hear it, hear it. And then we can start bringing in like actually how the vocal cords might start to expand. And it's kind of like, in a very crude way, it's kind of like muscles, you know, like once we start doing, if you start getting into yoga and you suddenly find you can actually move beyond that kind of like, oh my God, my legs don't stretch out like that. And then it's like, oh my goodness, like a few months later, I can do that thing that I didn't think I could do. So it's sort of warming into the fullness of who you really are.
Oh.
I'd also like to add something, Elizabeth, as well, because, you know, there's this thing that we can't hear, or there's, you know, there's places we can't go to. Often when people have had a traumatic experience in their life, it's like there's a wall around it. And to start taking the bricks out of the wall is too scary, because, you know, there's too much pressure on the other side. If you take one brick out, it's like the damn wall's going to break, you know, and that's what it feels like. And just everything's going to get washed away. And through working with sound, and I'll also add, you know, we don't just work with sound, we bring a very loving presence. That's why we call it pure love frequency. A very deep, loving presence to the sound that we create. It allows that wall, and it's often a wall around the heart, we allow that wall to just gently start to loosen a little bit. You know, it's like
Take up more space.
Yeah. And it can just gently dissolve away, just start to release and relax, and for the person to know that they're safe. You know, that's the main thing, is that, you know, this threat, you know, a moment where they felt so threatened because their whole nervous system was overwhelmed. So now they're starting to relax, and they're starting to let light into this very dark little place that's just been kept away. It couldn't be seen before, it couldn't be looked at. And
Mm.
now with this loving embrace, it's like if your child's hurt themselves, and you just pick them up and hold them. And that pain and the thing that hurts so much, as you hold them, you can just feel them just start to relax again and just start to melt. And then, a little bit later, they're sort of looking up and you go, I'm okay now, and they just run off and play again.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all have these little ones inside us that
Yeah.
never got held at the right time. So now we can hold them, that never goes away until that little one is held. So when we hold that little one and just let it know it's all okay, then things can move again and they can come into their wholeness. This is what health means, to be whole,
Yes.
So it's such a beautiful, gentle way to bring this healing beyond words, beyond analyzing things, but really that felt experience of, I'm safe here, I'm loved, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And that's when things can really move and change.
I wish everyone could get like a sound bath or before they come to, because like I think in psychiatry we talk about things that are very difficult. But it's not just about the sound, it is about that loving presence that you build when you're
Mm,
creating this safe space.
Mm.
That
mm,
is golden.
yeah. It's reminding me actually what you're saying about, the different approaches to healing. And I'm sure the way that you work with your patients is very caring and loving. Hearing in Rwanda, in Africa, after the genocide, some people came from a Western background. I think they were psychologists that wanted to help the trauma victims. And the Africans couldn't understand it. For them, healing means be in the sunshine, dance, move your feet, be with the ones who love you. And, they healed together.
Yes.
The Western approach was take a person away from those that love them, take them into a room and get them to talk about the things that they found so traumatic and that was so bad. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to the people of Rwanda. For them, it's like, come back to life, come into life fully, and life will heal it. Life will find a way to hold you. And so that you can move on, and you can come back to wholeness and make sense. And maybe not even make sense, but accept that this has happened.
Yes.
And that there is more. Life has more for you than just what happened.
I love that. That resonates so much with me because I'm African American and my parents are Ugandan. And what you
Ah,
said is like so true. Well, so it's interesting that I'm a psychiatrist, but when I talk about therapy, they're like, "What?"
mm.
Like, "We need to have a party. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
We got to get together." And there
yeah.
is something that is beautiful about being with other people and being held by the community. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like in the United States, there are not a lot of spaces where we actually do that, where you don't have to pay for it. Like, so we might have
Mm-hmm.
some support groups, but I think in Africa, at least, like, man, they're getting together all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Are there benefits that you see that tend to surprise people, and why do they surprise people?
That's a good question.
Mm.
What's coming to your mind?
I'm thinking about Joy when she came to Conglaze. So there was a concert we played underground in an old
Ooh,
slate mine. This is in Cornwall in the southwest of England, where Megan's from. And it was beautiful. About 100 people came, and we played for them for about an hour or so. Imagine the acoustics were amazing, underground, and then the odd drip of water here and there, and it was incredible. And this lady called Joy, beautiful name. She has the smallest crystal shop in the world, and she came up to Megan at the end of the concert and said, and just thanked her Do you want to explain why?
Yeah, so while I was singing, apparently she saw me turn into her mother who just passed like 2 weeks before. And it stayed for quite a while, and she just had this incredible experience of being sung to by her mother. And there was just so much peace for her and love and healing in that moment. And that's something that I wouldn't have foreseen, like going into that experience, and she certainly wasn't expecting that. So I think that definitely is something that can be surprising for people when they I'll just speak about for like when I sing to people, they often feel it very deeply in their hearts, and it's like a knowing, a familiarity of something that they've known. It's like a feeling of knowing it forever, but not knowing how they know it, like cognitively. And I've had that quite a few times where people feel like it is their mother who passed, or someone that was very dear to them, that is often no longer on this plane. And it's like they receive a very particular feeling of love that would have come from that person.
You know, we all live in the great mystery. You know, this is why we come here, to live in this mystery. And for so many of us, we're conditioned to live life in a logical way, that there's the physical world and it's linear and it's this causes that, and there's all these cause and effect. That is not the true nature of the universe. The true nature of the universe is love unfolding afresh in every moment. You know, this is who we are. We are unconditional love, source energy, expanding into a whole new place every moment. And so when Megan and I play, we invite people into this mystery. And the greatest discovery we can ever make in this life is who we are, who we truly are. That's the greatest discovery. So it's very emotional. Gosh.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Yay.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I wonder, are there specific, because you take people to different places for different things, I guess, are there specific frequencies or instruments that you use that are suited for people when they're experiencing grief?
Oh, that's a great topic to speak on.
Uh-oh. Where are we going?
It's
a beautiful journey.
So beautiful.
We've worked with many people with very deep grief, you know, from, you know, a loved one who passed away from one moment to the next, to parents who have passed, children who have passed. And we've taken many people on this journey of healing their grief. And it's incredible to see when they courageously come, you know, like with an open heart into this journey with us. Things can move really quite quickly, and they can come to a place that they have never imagined that they could have, you know, in that moment of the separation, of the grief, you know, that feeling you're blown apart, you know, you just, Paul Simon has a line about it, doesn't he, about losing love is like a window in your heart, you know, everybody sees you're blown apart.
Yes.
Everybody feels the wind blow, you know. I'm going to Graceland. It's like this place of grace is so beautiful to enter into. And recently, in working with someone for a couple of years and healing her grief, what came to me was that when her husband passed over, he went to the light. So he's in a place of, you know, really bright light, high vibration, pure love. She's still in her human physical body, a much denser frequency. So now when she wants to connect to her husband, it's like now all of a sudden there's 10,000 volts trying to go into a 200 volt wire. You know what I mean? It's just going to fry the circuits.
Yes.
So of course she can't hear him. She can't feel him because he's in a very different resonance, a very different vibration. But by raising her vibration with the loving music that we bring, she was able to come to a place where she could feel him again and she can connect with him again. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's so lovely.
And
I didn't know we were gonna go here, but I think that is something we deal with so much in psychiatry, but would
Mm.
love to send some people your way.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, please do.
Yeah.
You asked specifically like what instruments.
Yes.
And I think a key piece, like we were doing sound baths like 12 years ago. That's how we met, actually. And we did the classic, like we had some crystal bowls and we had a couple of gongs and all the like loads of things like rain sticks and the whole thing. And then as time's gone on, it's just been very clear that the central, like the core instruments for us are the didgeridoo. This one's a spirally one.
Oh.
And my voice. Like we often use drums. There's one sitting behind us there, and we also use I use a harmonium, which is like an air, like bellows, kind of like a drone that I can also put notes to. So it's kind of like a piano that's a drone. So it's like a deep ocean kind of sound. So what I would say in response to your question is, for us, it's very much about the vibration that comes through us, the frequency that comes through us, and it comes through breath. Really, that's essentially it. It comes through my voice, and it comes through the breath coming through this didgeridoo or collection of didgeridoos. And the human voice, like I spent years just kind of like, I didn't plan it, but I spent years tuning this instrument because I had like years of chronic fatigue, and there was a point where I couldn't do anything and I was just at home all the time. And I was actually living in a caravan in a field at one point during this time. And I would just sit on the floor. Luckily it was summer when I was in a particularly like couldn't do anything time. And I would sit on the floor, the sun was shining, there's trees all around me, and I would just listen. And I got into just a really deep listening awareness. And then the next step that now I can see looking back, the next step was when I started being able to walk again or go for walks again. I would walk along the beach and find myself tuning myself. I didn't know what was happening particularly consciously, but I felt it and I knew there was something significant in it. And I would just be tuning myself, and then I would just find somewhere that felt like, oh, that's the opening. And then I'd kind of like, I could feel the back of my throat open or my mouth widen or make a different shape. And then that's it. And then I'd stay there. And it's like I was tuning and tuning and tuning. And I think this is part of what we bring, is the very acutely attuned frequency of the human voice, because in the human voice is the human DNA. It's our connection to divinity, and when it's intentional, man, it reaches a heart like nothing else. And so when I'm singing, when Olivier's playing, but also when we're speaking, and like Olivier often he's clairvoyant, so he'll bring through messages for loved ones as well, and sometimes I kind of do that stuff as well. Then they're receiving that frequency through the voice.
Would you mind playing something for our audience?
So just to preface, we never know what we're gonna play. It's like we don't rehearse. It's not like we don't learn anything. It's very much of the moment. So just so that you know, this is whoever's listening right now, it's for you. Whenever you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from, this is for you. Yo ho, I say Nere yusoro mi bo Noraya na treya so
Oh, wow. That was awesome. That was awesome. What was that like for you?
So blissful. Yeah. It feels like the most incredible blessing moving through me.
Oh, geez, yeah. I mean, I loved it. I feel a lot more centered.
It's
Yeah.
quick, hey?
Yes. Yes. What would you like for the people at home to take home with them when it comes to making use of their voice? What would you like them most to know?
So there's something that I think a lot of people struggle with, perhaps, and it's recommended sometimes to look in a mirror and really look at your own eyes and just really let yourself see yourself, and then start to feel love. And I would say that that's a similar kind of thing you can do with your voice, to really let yourself feel yourself, like even more than hear yourself, to feel your own vibration. And the simplest way is just to, as you breathe, just have some moments where it's just like you can really be with your body and be with your breathing. And on that out breath, to just gently engage the vocal cords. So there's just a real, like almost internal hum that happens so that you can feel your vibration. So it's kind of like, almost like a B slowed down.
Wow.
And this is such a beautiful way to A, hear yourself, B, feel yourself. And there's the added bonus of it soothes your nervous system. It regulates your emotional situation, whatever's going on. It's very soothing. And it allows you to, I used to talk about it as like it's like you've got your own medicine within you, and your voice is so powerful for that. And when you hum into your body, it's like you're giving yourself a really beautiful, very unique signature medicine for yourself. So I would say if that's something that you feel like you could try it, and just let yourself feel silly if you feel silly, because there's going to be a point where you just feel like, oh man, this is the best thing. And if you can do it with a loving intention, Even if that means thinking of your children or your loved one or somewhere that you really love to be, bring that sense of love and awe in, and that's a whole other level.
It's wonderful. Well, I know that our audience is going to want to connect with you. Tell us how we can go about doing that.
Yeah, so probably the best way is going to visit our website, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's www.purelovefrequency.com. So purelovefrequency.com.
And our email is love@purelovefrequency.com. So feel free anytime.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Especially, we'd love to hear from any of you, like how this has been, like if you've noticed any shift within yourself during this conversation. Yeah.
Well, Olivier and Megan, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. Your questions and your openness just allowed this beautiful coming together today. Thank you so much.
If you haven't heard it yet today, I appreciate you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. If you'd like to see more episodes like this, please subscribe or click here. And friends, if this spoke to you, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.